Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Tori Anderson Knight. Brandon Combs and Wyatt Williams are both taking the night off to heal from their long days of school and work. So me and Tori, Mr. Substitute Teacher himself, are holding it down. If you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, Amazon Music. Or you can follow us on youtube.com/manhour, as that's where all the action happens. That's where all the behind the scenes footage, the after hours show, of course, pre-show happens as well. We are on youtube.com/manhour every Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. East Coast time. So go ahead and hit that like button and hit the share button and show it to a couple friends as well if you guys be most inclined. So Tori, we are 22 hours until draft time. And we've been talking about smoke and mirrors and false hopes and all week for these general managers. And now basically shit is starting to come out and just kind of be like, what? Like, what are you guys even talking about? But we are going to address these 8 rumors that I found to be the most plausible. So the first thing that I want to address is Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones has come out and said that he is basically infatuated with Kyle Pitts. He thinks he is the best tight end, that he will be the best tight end in the NFL day one when he walks into the NFL. But he has emphasized that he will not overspend to get a tight end. Currently, the Dallas Cowboys are sitting at number 10 here in the 2021 draft, and many people are basically projecting for him to get Patrick Surtain the second. Even our very own Wyatt Williams has Surtain going there as well. But I'm going to ask you this question, Tori. Do you see the Dallas Cowboys moving up in the draft to get Kyle Pitts?
Honestly, I would love to see it because I'd love to see them overpay, because I literally pray for Mike McCarthy to fail at every turn.
Oh,
and Jerry Jones, I really don't like. So,
hater.
I don't know. It's like the price is going to be steep to move up to that 4th spot. Atlanta is still right now 24 hours away from the draft, still shopping that pick. And everything you kind of look at and you read, it's going to be 2 firsts, a second, and a third. That's going to cost you to move up to that 4th pick. That is kind of the average that has been set for that pick. So it'd be a first this year, a first next year, and either a second or a third this year, or a second or a third next year. And that's a lot to give up,
right?
For one player. That's 4 picks that you could turn into a ton of other draft capital. That's a lot to give up. So you would have to be 100% sure that this is a guy that is going to step in and be all world from the day that he steps onto the field.
Yeah, so many people are throwing his college stats out there. Like, he played 43 games and he averaged over 100 yards per game receiving as a tight end at Florida. But you know, he also averaged over 17 yards per catch too. So it was a lot of down the field stuff. Hey, I'm bigger and taller than you are, and I have a quarterback like Kyle Trask, and I'm just going to throw it up and score a lot of touchdowns. So with that being said, you basically said that you think Kyle Pitts is going to go 4th overall to the Atlanta Falcons, right?
Absolutely. I don't think anybody's going to come up with that kind of price to move up there.
So with that being said,
I would see that.
With that being said, the Falcons are looking to move Julio Jones. And Julio Jones on the Cowboys, I mean, yes, they have a lot of receivers and a lot of young receivers, but they also have a lot of big contracts on that team too. So do you think that the Falcons would accept some type of player trade plus, you know, a first round pick for, you know, like that, like they swap picks plus a couple player trades, and we take Julio Jones off of your hands? Would a trade like that be enticing to the Falcons?
Player trades are super rare in the draft a lot of times. The thing though is that the Dallas Cowboys currently are actively shopping Michael Gallup as well.
Right.
So if Atlanta were looking at something like that to maybe swap Julio for Gallup and get younger at the receiver position, potentially something like that could happen. I don't see it happening. You usually don't see players moved for a draft pick on draft day. It just usually doesn't happen.
Right.
And a lot of that has to do with, they've already got into their voluntary workouts. They've already started getting into the routine for the season. So they're already into the playbook and stuff like that. So if they're traded, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because it does, but they're already behind the eight ball usually. And there's a steep curve to try to
Right.
correct after that point.
Well, on the bright side, the Falcons have until June 1st to trade Julio Jones before they take that $15.7 million cap hit on their on their books. And as it stands right now, the Falcons cannot afford the number 4 overall draft pick. So basically, a draft pick, a 4th overall draft pick right now will warrant about a $5.6 million signing bonus, and with a base salary of right around $600,000. So that would put them basically $3.3 million over the cap as it stands by just getting one player. So the Falcons I think they're kind of motivated to move down in the draft just because, you can get a lot of capital from that number 4 pick, and you can still get, your guy or get guys to help that team, because the Falcons need defensive help, right? Yes, their defense is like young, but there's a lot of holes, and they need a quarterback. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback 4th overall. So why not move down in the draft if you are not the Atlanta Falcons to draft a quarterback like Kyle Trask or that Mond or the guy from Texas A&M. What's his name? Mills or Wills? I can't.
No, Mills is from Stanford.
Oh, Stanford. So
Kellen Mond's from Texas.
Right. Yeah, I get those two flopped around. But with that being said, the Dallas Cowboys have been pretty damn smart with their draft picks since Stephen Jones has taken over the last 5 or 6 years. Mike McCarthy has his pulse on the team right now, and he knows how to win. He won you guys a Super Bowl right there up there in Packerland. So he knows what he wants. He knows what he needs. So I am going to 100% bust this rumor. The Cowboys either, stay put or they move back. So
I agree. I think if anything, they move back, acquire a few more picks, because if McCarthy's building his offense the same way that he built it in Green Bay, which it appears he is, he wants that tight. The reason Pitts makes sense is he wants that tight end like Jermichael Finley was from the Packers. A guy you can split out that's going to run straight out by linebackers, can run. Most safeties are going to have a hard time keeping up with them, and corners are going to be too small to tackle them.
Right. So Drew says drink here. Drew, Tori wasn't talking about his team, and I wasn't talking about my team, but I guess we'll drink. Cheers, boys. So, for those of you that are new here, we have a drinking game. Every time a person talks about their particular team, without it being warranted, you have a drinking game, and you drink. And every time Wyatt says, what does he say? I can't remember now.
He brings the pack. He'll bring Rodgers or Devontae Adams into almost any conversation.
What is his transitional phrase that he always uses? Why can I not think of it now?
With that being said,
so with that being said, the second rumor that I want to address is that the Miami Dolphins will draft Penei Sewell. Barry Jackson, he is a inside source for the NFL. On his Twitter said he has been in close contact with the front office, and he would not be surprised if they draft Penei Sewell with their draft pick, even though they just traded their offensive lineman to trade him to the football team, right? Flowers to the football team.
Eric Fall, which is ironic because that's who he played for before.
Right. So for the guys that don't know, the Dolphins are sitting at the 6th overall pick right now. They made a trade with the 49ers earlier. They moved down to the 12th pick, and then they moved up to the 6th overall pick with the trade with the Eagles. So with that being said, do you see the Miami Dolphins using that 6th overall pick to draft Penei Sewell? Or Sewell, I should say.
As they've already said, the Dolphins are really good at being master trolls.
Yeah.
So for them, it's almost like forcing the Bengals' hand. Oh, we just traded a tackle. we want Sewell. It's them trying to force the Bengals potentially into drafting Sewell, so a player that they want falls to them. I could 100% see that because there again, this time of year, believe nothing until it actually happens.
Right.
So, and then the rumor has it though. I don't where I say it, I don't get it, is because it's rumored that like Jamar Chase would be the pick, but um, all the stuff coming out is like they like Waddle better over Jamar Chase, which could be because they have tape on Waddle from this year, whereas Jamar
Right.
Chase sat out. So it could be a little hesitation there. But yeah, I think it's them being trolls. Honestly, I will say they actually have pretty decent line depth in Miami, and they probably saw Flowers as expendable, and they got what they could for him.
Right. So speaking of their line depth, with trading Flowers off, their left side, they are only one deep. Just like on that side. So they have one substitute, and his name's DJ Fluker. I don't know anything about him whatsoever. So
Former first round pick.
yeah, but drafting a lineman does make sense because you say their line's deep, but they only have like 7 guys actively on the roster right now, and we've sat here on the Man Hour and we said that not me, but I believe it was you and Wyatt said that Penei Sewell is a generational changing tackle. So why not take the best player available on the board if he falls down to you?
I would be in complete agreement with you there. How do you not take him if he falls to you? You almost have to. That's I wouldn't. I hate to call that a luxury pick being in the top 10, but if
Right.
somebody of that talent falls to you, you cannot pass them up. You
Yeah.
have a guy that has potentially that has the potential to be a year in and year out Pro Bowl guy. So how you even pass that up, I don't know. There again, too, it could be the smoke and mirrors. It could be them saying, "No, we're actually going to try to do this if he falls to us." So, it's like I said, the Waddle thing just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me with them, and I just kind of take that as hearsay.
Right.
Because I think honestly, if Jamar Chase is there and Sewell's not, you take Chase. If Sewell's there and Waddle's there because for whatever reason Chase went to Cincinnati, you're taking Sewell.
Yeah, if the Bengals draft a receiver at that 5th overall pick when they have 2 great linemen that they could draft right there, clearly that tells me that Joe Burrows is not coming back at the start of the season, and they highly anticipate not even being in competition week 8, week 9 when he does come back. So you're going to draft the best available player that you feel fit there, and they do need somebody to take AJ Green's spot there. So it kind of makes sense to draft a receiver.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think part of it is too. They're going to wait to see who the post June 1 cap cuts are as well,
Right?
because they're again like I the Falcons can't really do a lot with Julio until post June 1st, because after June 1st they can deal him, and then it's like they save like 15.3 million under the cap.
Right.
You almost have to do that as good as Julio is. But with all that, you could probably get him on a Randy Moss type deal. I almost said it. But you only like a Randy Moss type trade. Randy Moss got traded from the Vikings to the Raiders for a 4th round pick.
Very
and that man still had years. He had a couple of years left in him.
No, he didn't. Come on now. You know better.
Yes, he did.
He had a couple.
He did. It was
he had a couple years on 6 different teams, right?
Well, he broke the touchdown record when he went to the Patriots, and that was about 3 years after he was with the Raiders.
Also played with the GOAT, though, right?
You can't argue that, but still, the guy's got to catch the ball and score. So
true.